Hi, and welcome to the Social Angle, a podcast that helps promo pros gain an edge in the social media realm. I'm digital content director Vinny Driscoll, and on this episode, I am joined by Lauren Pillar, Vice President at Echo Marketing Solutions, to discuss the importance of offering eco-friendly products, what's hot in the sustainability market, and the role social media plays in it all. Lauren, welcome to the Social Angle.
Hello, thanks for having me. Yes, excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great topic. I'm excited to talk about. So how are things in Austin? You're in Austin, Texas, right?
Yes, Austin, Texas. Good old, love it. Yeah, it's nice and sunny today. It was raining yesterday, so take advantage of that. Get outside later, enjoy.
Yeah,
How's it where you are?
we have weird weather in the Northeast. We were chatting offline. Our March was warmer than our April, which is hard to believe that could happen. We had all this 80-degree weather in March. It was premature, but April was like so chilly. Like we had the chilliest April I can remember. And this weekend, Mother's Day weekend, it's going to be in the 50s, rainy and in the 50s. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I want 70s and 80 degrees for Mother's Day, take some pictures out by, the flowers. No, it's going to feel like March again.
All thanks to the global warming. That's why it's important to get into eco-friendly products.
Which is a great segue to our conversation about sustainability products. So, we have a great topic, like you just said. But before we get into that, I want you to take a minute to introduce yourself and how you found yourself in the promo industry.
Yeah, so let's see. I've been in the promo industry basically since I was a child. My grandparents started it back in the day. Then I've seen it both on distributor and supplier side. My dad got into this as well. So I always saw it growing up, but I went to school to be a nurse. I just went a totally different direction, but quickly realized corporate jobs, I just saw the way America works. And the business my parents were doing was it's Grow Line, if y'all have heard of it, but it's eco-friendly. So I loved from the start talking about like planting seeds, trees. So it just made sense to transition from nursing to use my caring skills I learned and go back to what I knew best, which was promotional products. But I'm bringing my millennial eco-friendly twist on it these days, which I feel like is so not out there, but should be.
Yeah, so you were born into this industry, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty common thing that I find. A lot of people I talk to are either born into this industry or they kind of fall into the industry somehow. That happened to me like 15 years ago. I took a job at ASI for doing like webmaster work, and I had no idea. I had no idea what this industry was about. And then 15 years later, here I am. I'm still here. I love it, but I had no idea it existed. Well, I mean, I knew it existed. I knew what promotional products were, merch, tchotchkes, but I didn't really know that there was such a vast industry behind it. So yeah, I love hearing the stories about how people got in this industry. That's why I always ask people, how did you end up in it? So yeah, I mean, growing up in the industry certainly gives people an advantage, on understanding what the industry is all about. So, all right, so. If you have any comments or questions for Lauren, certainly drop them in the chat. We're talking about sustainable products. So Lauren, everything about your online presence, from your business to your social media channel, seems to promote a passion for sustainability. Can you tell us where that passion came from and how long you've been an advocate of the eco-friendly movement?
Yeah, so my whole life I've been outdoorsy, love getting in nature, going on hikes, bike riding, getting into camping. Wish that was more of a thing, but it just makes sense as I was out there and you meet the people out in nature and you just see the way they see the world and our planet. It's just, I don't know, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just so impactful and meaningful. It gives me purpose, I guess, in a way. So I don't know, I found it just like, I'm one of those hippie granola girls, you could say. I connect with nature. I like to be out there. And it just made sense to combine my two passions. I go hiking. I'm always taking like my camelbacks and my nice like waterproof bags and solar power like chargers and everything. It's just like it applies to promotional products. So it's just I feel like it's just my lifestyle that I have through eco marketing. It just happens to be I can offer a service to people as well.
So were your parents very, eco-conscious when you were growing up?
I don't know if they were super eco-conscious, but I think with my generation too, we kind of became the first ones who started, and maybe it more affected us like growing up. We heard about climate change, global warming. But they were eco-friendly in the sense like we recycled. We weren't like vegan or anything like that, but we always like would plant stuff in our backyard, like with our grow cans and stuff. We'd always plant trees when people bought, from us. So we were eco in that sense. But as an adult, I'm learning it's our responsibility, especially my generation and those coming, to really conserve our planet. So I feel like it's just like my lifestyle now and my job to promote and educate people through the power of promotional products.
So it's something that is near and dear to your heart.
Oh yeah, super. This is like a passion project that just happens to be marketing at the same time.
Right, and I get that impression by checking out your social media, your website. I mean, it's all about sustainability and eco-friendly. So with the launch of Promo Cares and ASI's Promo for the Planet, which we just launched a couple of weeks ago, the ad specialty industry is making significant strides in promoting the importance of sustainability. Can you tell us why you think it's important that eco-friendly products be a bigger part of the industry landscape?
I mean, just the basics is just be sustainable, as that's what everyone should be doing. But promotional products are more than just that. It's how you get the message across, and it's seen in media. So it makes a bigger impact than just the product itself. So, seeing like a Kardashian, using bamboo cutlery or something, it will spread like wildfire across, the nation to younger people and older people. It becomes just second nature. You don't even think about it so much, which is what it should be. Instead of people calling me for the cheapest plastic pen, hopefully it just becomes, what's your nicest bamboo cutlery set or something in the future, without me having to like sale them on it.
Have you seen in the last couple of years an increase in the interest of eco-friendly?
Yes, and I'm super excited about that. Definitely, I'm getting more outreach. I feel like organic traffic's coming in because we're educating more people, trying to get more blogs out there and stuff too around the importance of this. And I'm definitely noticing it's hitting all different types of industries as well that we're, getting in touch with. So it's exciting to see, and I'm ready to see it grow even more.
Do you think it will grow more?
Oh, for sure. It's like just getting started. Like when we established like eco marketing in like 2008, my dad's helped us start, and he was kind of on the fence about it. I was like, let's just hold on to it. Like, I know this is where we're going in the future. Like, we really don't have any options. Either, start using sustainable recycled products, or the trash piles up and we all, I don't know, end up dead. So, it's just, yeah.
No, I get it. It's an important, part of, the landscape right now. I mean, you talk about recycling. When I was growing up, we didn't have recycling. I don't know too many people, in the 80s, 70s, and 80s who, separated their trash. And, I think in the last 20 years, that's become commonplace, probably even longer, where, I've been living in the Northeast all my life. And, it started about 25 years ago. And now it's like, if I go somewhere and they don't recycle, I'm like, what's going on here? Like, why don't you recycle? Like, why am I throwing this, this plastic water bottle in the regular trash? So, just like, recycling has become, a bigger part of our day-to-day lives, I do believe that eco-friendly is starting to become more part of the daily lives of promotional products professionals. Can we do better? Yeah, of course we can do better. But I definitely agree with you. I think there's been an increase in the interest. And I also think that there's something at play here with generations. You talk about, you're a millennial. You grew up with a passion for this. And I don't think you're too dissimilar from a lot of millennials, and especially Gen Z. I think a lot of the younger generation who represents the significant buying power in our industry, they want sustainable products. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I feel like right now there's kind of a divide though too. Like I'm seeing so much like fashion and just everything come out that I'm seeing also like our side, like the promotional products are trying to replicate, but in a sustainable way. So I'm hoping we can transition that to just, I don't know, it's going the right direction, but I still see so much of the like Amazon, all the fast shipping. I see it just doing the total opposite of what we're trying to promote at the same time.
Right.
But yeah, I can see we're moving in the right way. It's more than just what we can do alone, which is a struggle, but.
Right. So let me ask you about a significant stumbling block when it comes to promotional products and sustainable products. Are they more expensive? And I think that's kind of where people kind of get hung up. Like, are they more expensive? If so, how do you convince a client to go with the greener option?
So yeah, in most cases, your eco-friendly products are more expensive, but it's because of how they're sourced. The materials, and they usually are well made, last longer. But the way I convince my clients, hopefully I don't even have to at this point, I just really explain to them the benefits. It's like, yes, you're paying more upfront, but it's an investment. It'll be lasting longer, so it's still good advertisement and marketing, which was the purpose to begin with. And it just has the added benefit of being sustainable, and it just will snowball from there. And usually I get good feedback from them. I get the few who are like, well, we're looking for the cheapest. And I'm just getting better at saying no. I feel like I'm educating them at the same time. I tell them why I have to, not work with them. It doesn't serve our interests because we're trying to be very sustainable. And I usually will get people to churn, or they just totally go away. But it says a lot about them, I feel like, and you can't please everyone these days. Incredible.
Right. So the conversation comes up often for you about price, correct?
Yes.
And you try to convince them, hey, maybe you can do this with a sustainable product. And ultimately, I think for a lot of people, it does come down to price. And sadly, the sustainable option will be the one that ends up on the cutting floor.
Always. And I try to make it like, it's like, instead of it's just a product that they're giving away, I have them like explain like it'll become a part of their lifestyle as well. Like if one thing will lead to them wanting another part. Like if you've like a bamboo tote bag, you want cutlery to go in there in a bento box, and it just, they'll keep adding on to it.
Right.
But the resistance I think it's more of an uneducated kind of resistance.
Right. Which is what you're trying to do. You're trying to educate them. You're trying to help,
That's why I'm taking to the social media, and I'm starting to get back on. My blogging has been behind, but it's like I'm learning like no one knows what's out there, how important it really is to switch to sustainable products.
Right.
Really, like, what is this bamboo cutlery set going to do in the long run? And that's why people keep using plastic water bottles. But I'm here to try to change that through the power of TikTok and whatever else I can.
Right. And we're going to get to that in a second on the social media aspect of it. But again, we're talking to Lauren Pillar. She is the VP. Can you give that? Your company is Eco Marketing Solutions, correct?
Yeah, Eco Marketing, Eco, whatever people call it, Eco Marketing Solutions. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're talking about all things sustainable today. So I got to ask you, what's hot in the sustainable promotional product market?
So yeah, lots of new great products are coming out, which I'm loving. I'm really cutlery. I keep mentioning, but that's like one of my favorites. Definitely bags. We're getting more like recycled, like a paper product bags that are like really well made, like kind of like a Tyvek material. So I'm liking the way we're getting high quality products. So love that. Tumblers, mugs. It's amazing. It's just everything's super nice these days. Like where was I? I don't know, just a trade show recently though. Just going around picking up things. I was just excited again to see everything. But it's everything you have, but like more retail brands are coming out, apparel. I'm seeing lots of recycled like bamboo, like anything, socks, hats. I'm excited to get into that more. Make it like more, part of your life. Like you want to wear it as a fashion piece, not just like it's a billboard for someone's brand.
Right. I went through your TikToks and I saw some like custom seated paper bombs. Those look pretty cool. You guys got like plants like succulents, which make nice giveaways. Wheat fiber charging cables, and of course water bottles. Get rid of that single-use mentality of water bottles.
The seeded paper bombs, I love those. I'm glad you brought that up. I think I'm trying to instead of the plastic bottles, because I have so many, even, you collect them from trade
Sure.
fairs and whatnot. It's like, how many bottles do you really need? And people do throw them away. So I figure, why not like intend a gift to be thrown away to begin with? Like, it's more fun that way. Like, they can aggressively get their anger out on whatever, but also they're growing flowers. So
Right.
it's not
Right.
harming anything. So I'm trying to make it like that. I'm trying to convince, my clients that it's a fun whole process. It's not just a gift. It's the unboxing, the throwing it. You want them to make it a whole memorable experience.
Sure. Sure. And I just had my podcast last week was about unboxing, and I was gonna offer that one to you because I saw that you were also interested in unboxing videos. The ASMR, the whole the whole experience of receiving these boxes, these gifts, and just taking them to social media and showing off the stuff that you get. To me, I think that's also a hot trend in this industry and sustainable, which is what we're talking about today. So let's talk about social media. You mentioned you're on TikTok, and really, that's really where you're concentrating your efforts, seems to be on TikTok right now. Can you tell us what your approach is to creating content on that network and how it's been received?
Yeah. I really just post what I want. I think it's the beauty of TikTok. It's like one of the social media platforms where it's not as filtered or reserved as Instagram and Pinterest, I feel like, are a bit. So I post what I feel like. I'm trying to, when I'm posting, I'm thinking about like the clients I want to attract and my vision is I want it to align with who I'm speaking to through the phone. So I talk about the products I really like, the benefits you get from them, for their clients as well. What I'm learning on TikTok, though, it's weird because our industry is more kind of like a B2B versus like direct to consumers, which is I'm learning TikTok is totally like a buy this.
Right.
But, with marketing, I think it works in our favor. I'm learning, if you can jump on the trends and stuff, you can just, without having to sell people, you market the benefits, and it seems to be working. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out the crowd still. It seems to be more Gen Z, and most of our clients are either should be retired in government or who don't really use the app. So there is some disconnect, but like with anything, it takes a few years to start and get traction on any platform. So
you like unloaded a lot there. I can go in so many different directions here. You talk about demographics of a social media platform like TikTok. It skews younger. This industry is older. Are your buyers on TikTok? Possibly not. But I talk about this all the time in my podcast when it comes up that TikTok is a viable network for this industry. Like, you can create great content in TikTok and share it onto other networks. And I think that's what makes TikTok a very appealing network for a lot of people. The studio is powerful. You have access to so much great audio overlays, music. It's just so powerful. You can create content really quickly, but it doesn't stay. TikTok doesn't tell you, hey, you got to keep it on our network. You can share it out onto Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you want to put it. And it keeps the integrity of the video itself. All the music, all the bells and whistles, of course. If there's that one artist who says, hey, you cannot play my music outside of TikTok, then it gets shot down on other networks. But that's only happened to me once. So to me, but you also really like to jump on trends. You have no problems putting yourself out there in terms of using or jumping on trends that have foul language. So your approach is really just, hey, this is me. This is who I am. This is kind of what I have to offer. You throw caution to the wind, and you're getting lots and lots of views. Like, I checked out your videos, thousands of views. In some instances, over 10,000 views. So can I ask you about how that's affected your bottom line? Have you seen any sales come through TikTok?
Yeah, actually, I've definitely got a few emails from it, which I was surprised as well. I was like, oh, this is catching on. So yeah, I like TikTok because when you get to I think to have 1,000 followers, you can put a website or something, I'm almost there, I'm 300 away. And that's all you need. That link, if you goal. If you just get, if 20,000 people see a video and just one person clicks and then they send someone else, just it makes a huge difference, the volume, versus like putting an ad on Google and hoping it ranks and they click. And there's all different ways, but I'm learning with the future and this organic growth with social media, like why not take advantage of that?
Yeah, definitely. And how do you know what trends to jump on? Are you just following TikTok every day, seeing what's coming through your feeds and then noticing what's hot and then trying to do the same thing?
Yeah, so I also have like a personal TikTok that I've gone like mini famous on. So I think from there I feel like the pressure. I'm like, I need to convert that image, but with my marketing and stuff. So I feel because I have an advantage in that sense, it helps me. But yeah, it comes with, I'm on it daily. I post like 3 to 5 times a day sometimes. It's part of content creation, but that's what I want. I want it to be a fun, educational platform. And if they like it, they will buy. I don't want to sell people on my stuff. They should be convinced by just me showing them the good products.
Sure. Now, do you reuse any of your TikToks for any other networks or any of your marketing?
So working on that, I've learned Instagram and these other apps are getting smart and they're learning if you're like copying, even if you save like without watermarks. So I do repurpose everything, but I will do different styles on different networks. Like Instagram's more a nurturing older crowd that just wants to like see what's up and read. Whereas TikTok, I can be a little more creative, cuss a little bit, and get away with stuff.
Right.
I like trying all different platforms because you never know who's out there looking for you as well.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's great. I think, I've talked about this ad nauseum and other podcasts about, people ask me like, well, how many networks should I be on? And I said, be on one network, be on it, well, but if you only have the bandwidth to be on one network, do it and do it well. But make sure that's the network you want to be on. Like, to me, I feel like if your customers are older, TikTok might not be for you unless you're creating content there and repurposing it elsewhere. To me, I always say like, hey, Facebook is, my mom's on Facebook. It's like, it's older, it skews older. And if your demographic of customers is older, maybe Facebook's where you're at. If your demographic is millennials, Instagram. To me, I feel like you got to know who your customers are, and then really, go to that network and create content there. I think that's the best advice I could always give for that question. But TikTok's sort of changing the game in terms of being able to share that content, because we get a lot of engagement on our TikToks when we share them onto Instagram. Probably more engagement on our Instagram than we do on TikTok. So it just tells you that a lot of ASI's followers are engaged and active on Instagram. So again, I'm talking to Lauren Pillar. We're talking about sustainability products. I have a few more questions for you, Lauren.
Sure.
So people tend to use social media to show off products and gifts that they receive. Do you find that eco and green products tend to get more love on social media?
Definitely recently, I'm seeing a lot more like hashtags surrounding like sustainable products and stuff where I used to have to type it in. I'd be like the first one on there. So definitely seeing that more. And it seems to be hitting like a bigger like retail even level. So I definitely know it'll be hitting harder in the promotional products soon too.
Yeah, I agree. I think, this is a trend that's not going to go away. I think it's just, we mentioned earlier with having younger generations starting to see more buying power, generations like Gen Z, millennials, who are embracing sustainable products, aligns more with their values than Gen X, and older. So to me, I think when they get something that they really like, promotional products wise, something that they want to hold on to, something they want to keep, they go to social media to show off those products. And social media is a great vehicle to show off content from an end user's perspective, what they've got. Some of the great products that they receive. My instinct as a Gen X, like if I receive something that I really like, as a gift, I'm not going to social media to show it off. Not usually, but that's not the case with the younger generations. So when they receive something they like, boom, they're going to social media to show these things off, and that's going to generate questions like, oh, what is that? Where did you get that from? I love it. boom, then you have that, like it's free. Social media is free. All of this is word of mouth. It's viral, and that helps with your brand awareness. And I think that's very, very important. Promotional products that are sustainable will have that effect, as opposed to, like we talked about earlier, cheap plastic products that are single use. They end up in the landfill. Nobody's going to social media to show that stuff off.
Nope. If they are, it's because it's piled up in a trash can. They hashtag.
All right, Lauren, this has been a great conversation, and I always end my podcast with a fun question. So let me ask you, after a long, hard day of work, which we all tend to have once in a while, what is the one drink you can always rely on?
A good old tequila soda lime. It's my go-to.
Nice. I like that. Me, I'm a beer guy. I usually drink
lagers or IPAs.
See, I'm a stout guy. I like the dark beer. But when I really want it, have a good one, I go to the bourbon barrel aged stouts, the 12 percenters. It's me in a nice good mood. Nice mellow mood. Yep.
Gotta reward ourselves, after a long week in this business, we deserve it all.
I know. And this is like, I'm in my office for like maybe the third time since the pandemic hit. So to me, I'm like, this is life. I'm gonna, after we get off the call, I'm gonna head home, tonight, and maybe grab a beer. So I'm excited. But Lauren, this has been a great conversation. And I really appreciate your time today. I know everyone's busy. How can people get a hold of you if they want to reach you?
Yeah, if you're interested in learning more about promotional products or eco-friendly ones at that matter, you can reach us at ecomarketingsolutions.com or email me personally at lauren@ecomarketingsolutions.com. You can also find our other contact page on there, phone numbers, and cool items.
Yep, and don't miss Lauren on TikTok.
TikTok, if you're on there. Sustainable marketing. That's where you can find me.
Yeah, she's doing some really cool stuff on TikTok. Check her out. What is it? Sustainable marketing?
Sustainable marketing.
Yeah,
be one of the first, I hope.
Yeah, and you'll see some really good stuff.
Some good ideas. Steal them for your own business, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this is Vinny Driscoll, Lauren Pillar. We'll see you next time on The Social Angle. Have a great weekend, everyone.